Welcome back. In today's Python tutorial, we are going to learn how to design and visualize a 3D globe, which is going to show the expected global population density by 2030. As you will see, this is going to be an interactive map where population densities are shown by colorful, bright, tall pillars all around the globe. As usual, let's start with importing the packages, and I will also add the link I used to download the data from WorldPop and from this website where I found the basemap. So after visiting these websites, you will be able to quickly find the WorldPop data and also the basemap image which I'm going to use in this tutorial. First, we are going to prepare the WorldPop data, which is covering population data from 2030 on a level of a relatively small grid. I believe that its resolution is 1 kilometer, so a pixel in this raster dataset has an edge size of 1 kilometer. We can quickly read it using raster.io and some of the usual commands. When we read in the raster data file, we can specify the first channel because this is a single banded data file because it only contains population data. We can take care of the missing values and extract a few more parameters which we're going to use later on during the visualization and the scaling of the image. While I was preparing this tutorial, I figured that the original 1 kilometer resolution is going to be way too detailed for this visual, so I'm going to show you how to aggregate, where the block size is going to be 200 kilometers, to which we can align the raster dataset by first trimming it, computing the coordinates of the new grid, and here in the aggregation part, we are also aggregating. So what happens here is that we merge the first 200 pixels or blocks, and then we move on to the next 200 and the next 200 and the next 200. And we are doing this along the two axes. And then we are aggregating, we are summing up all the values, all the pixel values, so the population level of each pixel for each block. Then to make sure that we have a proper coordinate system, we have to do these extra steps, which will be very handy when we are going to visualize the map, in which case we won't have a NumPy array indexed by just integers, but we will have a proper extent showing coordinates, which you will see as soon as we visualize the map using the imshow command. And for some housekeeping, let's add a color bar, axis title, and the rest. So here you can already see that this is a lot more pixelated image comparing to the 1 kilometer grid. And that's the result of our aggregation step. Let's see what happens if we, for example, go for a block size of 2000 kilometers. We will have just a few pixels. Yep, so this is way too aggregated, but 200 works well with the visuals we are going to build here. So let's create the 3D visuals, for which we will need to import a few more libraries. And you will notice here that we are going to center our visual around Plotly and around creating a 3D globe in Plotly. First, we will do some data preparation. So essentially, we will clean up the grid from any non-zero population values. We will also do some normalization. So we will scale the dataset in a way that all the outliers will be chopped off. So we won't have extreme values which would mess up the visuals. All the zero population parts will be shown. Here we define that the threshold is going to be actually the 5% range, or a 5% section of the tallest pillar, because here we had the normalization. Then let's create our sphere by first parsing the basemap. You will see that this is a NumPy array when we show it like this, but this just means that this is an array of triplets, meaning that we have an R, a G, and a B, so the red, green, and blue channels, so an RGB image stored as a matrix. Then I'm going to turn it into a kind of grayscale version, map the coordinates so we can project it on a sphere, and rename those to X, Y, and Z just to make sure that we have an easy way to align with the standard nomenclature of Plotly. And here we create the dark globe instance, which we can add to the visual right away. Let's also add my comments here. So these are, you will see, comments from ChatGPT. So I usually use it to explain what happens in the code and give like some nice structure to it. It's really helpful when I'm revisiting my older codes. Here, yep, so now we have the globe. Let's compose the image. Usual stuff in Plotly. First we will define the figure. Then we will go for the layout settings. So the scene is defining how the visual is shown first. So we will switch off the axes because we don't really need them. We will use a real actual aspect ratio, black background color, and here you see where the camera is positioned initially. And we can also change the margin and the size of the rendered image, which should be visualized here if we call the fig show command. And yep, forgot a helper function. So this function is going to be needed to do the coordinate conversion. So to turn the X and Y 2D matrix with the pixel values into the X, Y, and Z values. And here we don't have spikes defined yet. And here we are. So now we have a nice Plotly visual. It's a little bit large for this screen of mine. But here you can already see that there is some stuff going on. This kind of looks like the Earth. We can zoom out, scroll, rotate it when we grab it with the mouse. So now we have some sort of a base map in 3D. Please also note that you can also save this as an HTML file by just running this simple command. So the next thing to do is to define the population spikes. So this means that we will have a column or a spike positioned at each grid cell. So each grid cell from this 200 kilometers grid, and each of them is going to be shown as a pillar or a spike or like a column, and their color and height will be proportional to the population present in that aggregated pixel. So here we will define the base layer, so they should be on the surface of the sphere, so they are growing from the sphere. That's why we need to add the base layer, and then we will generate the coordinates again, and then we will pick a color map which is going to be turbo from matplotlib, and then in a very simple for loop we will iterate over the population dataset, pick the color, and then append the spike 3D object as a scatter 3D object from Plotly, and then we also have to make sure that we include it in the figure's data layers and just run it and see what happens. If we get an error, that's good, we are learning from it. Yes, so spikes is a list here. Let's see how many elements we have there. It's a list of 6,300 items. That should be the number of non-zero columns from the grid before. And now let's see how it runs now. It might take a few seconds or even longer because we are rendering quite a lot of data, but once it's done, we will get this really cool, really awesome, excitingly looking 3D map. So here you can see that wherever the population in the aggregated pixels was essentially zero, then we have these very tiny columns, so only 5% of the maximum. And in all the other pixels, we have the actual population level illustrated by the columns height, and the color as well. So this is how it looks like. You can see that we don't have any data visualized in the oceans. Some parts Like the Sahara Desert is very, very rarely populated or unpopulated, while major parts, for example, in Europe, have lots of population. Siberia and the northern part of Russia is also quite empty. And then here we are, India, China, extremely populated. And remember, this is a population data from WorldPop covering 2030. So these are projections. So this is how, in theory, the world's population distribution is going to look like in 5 years from now on the level of 200 square kilometer grids. Here in North America, you can see, I bet this is New York, this is probably Los Angeles and San Francisco, so we can spot the major hubs, except in China and India, because there the density is so high at this resolution that probably to pick cities one by one, we would need to go for a finer resolution. Anyways, here there are many parameters, especially with the spikes, which you can fine tune to make sure that this renders more easily. For example, population level filtering, like this mask. So if you set a different filter, you will drop lower populated pixels, and that way you will have less spikes to visualize and it will be easier to render. So that was it for this map, because this was the first time I combined future WorldPop data and 3D visuals, so I hope you enjoyed and let me know how this code works on your machine. See you next time.